All right, I want to get back now to the case of Trayvon Martin. A judge has just set that $150,000 bond for George Zimmerman. Should be getting out of jail soon, perhaps not today. In a surprise move, though, Zimmerman took the stand and apologised directly to Martin's parents. I want to bring in Mark O'Meara now, who is the attorney for Zimmerman, and we're pleased to have you here. You know, how risky was it to put him on the stand?
It's always a risk when you put a criminal defendant on the stand. They have an absolute right not to. But George was quite sincere in his desire to respond to Trayvon's mom's request that he apologized and that he answered two questions, that dealing with if George knew Trayvon was young, a teenager, and two, if he knew he was armed or not. So that's exactly what George did.
So you knew what he was going to say before he said it?
We were answering the questions posed to us by the mom.
Yeah, so in your view, it went well in terms of being able to get out some of the information that you wouldn't normally get out in a bond hearing?
I was glad to have an opportunity to review some of the probable cause affidavit and the evidence that led to it with one of the investigators. I think that brought some more light to the facts of the case.
So the comments about gunpowder on the sweatshirt, there were comments about blood stippling and that. How does that help you?
Well, I don't know yet because I haven't seen the evidence and the discovery from the state. I'm sure it's all going to fit in together to give me some insight on the case, but taking one piece of evidence right now, sort of out of sorts, wouldn't make much sense.
What about the safety issues? You know, there was all that anger out there, and now he's going to be out. Are you concerned about that? Are precautions being taken?
Very concerned about his safety and that of his family, just because of the upwelling of emotions this case has sort of brought to the surface. We're going to try and keep him safe and secure. I need him out for my own purposes for the defense. The family wants him out. He deserves to be out. I'm just hoping that everyone who has some preconceived notions about this case, maybe they got a bit of an insight today that it is not one-sided. I thought the testimony presented by George's mom, though unelicited by me, was compelling in talking about the son that she knows.
Yeah, the other thing too, you pretty much got them to admit that they didn't know who started the fight. That's got to help.
That was always a question that seemed to be presented by that little bits of evidence that was out so far. I'm glad that we were able to at least shed some light on it.
So what happens now? Is he going to be out today? Do you know?
I doubt it because there's a lot of logistics that have to be worked out before that. So I think it's going to be another few days, couple of days. I'm not sure yet. Now he is entitled to be released, and we'll get him out as soon as possible once we have everything else in place.
It's something about the system here too that so much is able to be said, unlike in other countries, so much is able to be said outside the confines of the courtroom. Yeah, we heard the Trayvon Martin family attorney Benjamin Crump saying that the family is devastated over Zimmerman's release. So much is said outside the courtroom. Is that an issue for you?
Well, yes, and actually, which is why I've declined to talk about any specific evidence, is that the commentary from the family members, representatives of the families, even the media, is working off incomplete evidence. And what happens is we then focus on one piece of evidence when it's not looked at by the whole. And I'm frustrated by that because then we have these rising of emotions when one picture comes out or another statement comes out, and truly that just keeps everything more heightened than I think it should be. We need a fair, well thought out, rational analysis of the facts.
Yeah, of course, in other countries, you know, there's stuff that isn't said inside the court can't be said outside the court, and you know, unless it's actually been said as part of evidence given inside the courtroom, it is a peculiarly American thing. I'm curious how he is at the moment. Can you tell me?
He's happy that we have a bond amount. He's happy that he was not denied bail. Now we just need to figure out how to keep him secure and safe. I think he's relieved that he knows that he'll be leaving jail, and we'll get back to this family and get back to the idea of helping me with the defense.
And the family is not wealthy. Are they going to be able to raise the money?
We're working on it now. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough?
Absolutely. That's a lot of money for a family that has very little means. And of course, George can no longer work, and his wife has been in school.
And so would there be a possibility he couldn't raise the money?
Yes.
Right, okay, so he would then just stay in jail, obviously.
If he were to stay in jail because of a complete inability to raise the funds, I might be able to readdress the bond amount with Judge Lester, because at that point it will have been found to be too high. And I don't think the judge intended to set a bond so high that he couldn't meet it. My hopes are that we will put together the monies to get it taken care of.
All right, we'll leave it there. Mark O'Meara, thanks so much, attorney for Mr. Zimmerman.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much.